What's going on, everyone? And I already have the wrong background. There we go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another post game here on Rangers Central. And the Rangers win 3-2 over the New York Islanders in overtime, getting their first, I would say, ugly win of the season. It was your typical New York Rangers win. Igor Shesterkin stood on his head for about 60 minutes, even though he didn't play 60 minutes for 40 minutes. Dylan Garand followed up with the same thing, and the Rangers get the job done. I am going to be completely honest with every single person in this chat before I jump into the post-game show here. I know, I am well aware that it is preseason. I'm not in a good mood right now. The Mets ticked me off so bad that this game, it meant something to me in some regard. It meant something just to feel something sports wise because of the vomit that's in my mouth still. So here I am watching this game. And like I said, I was in disgust for a lot of this game because there are things with the X's and O's here where Mike Sullivan, he'll get his work cut out for him. But oh my goodness, does this team potentially have a third pair problem? I'm going to start with the negatives right away before I jump into the positives, because there's positives. Even though it's an ugly win, there are positives here to talk about. And if you follow me on Twitter, you saw how much Braden Schneider was getting under my skin tonight. And it is because I just cannot fathom how he is that piss poor at moving the puck out of his own end. It's his first game back from the shoulder injury surgery. My thing with him was there's something upstairs, up here, that doesn't click with them, and it was on display. I will give him time. It is preseason. I'm not going to sit here and tell you they got to trade him now, even though I've felt like for a while they should have. But, oh my goodness. One of my biggest worries going into this year is Braden Schneider and Urho Vakanainen being a pair, and then Susie Borgen being the reason you have to break up Adam Fox and Vladislav Gavrikov. And based on what we've seen from the four individuals that are not Adam Fox and Vladislav Gavrikov, I mean, are we not concerned? Are we not concerned? I at least am. There was an opportunity, just to paint the picture. There was an opportunity, I believe it was before the end of the second period. My mind's a little blurry, and I do apologize for doing this post game a little bit late here. Normally I like to do them right after the game, but got caught up with something. Anyway, you had an opportunity here. Gabe Perreault had a chance for a breakaway, and all it is making that breakout pass. And Braden Schneider, all night long, made my eyeballs bleed just trying to move the puck. He doesn't know when he needs to swallow the puck. He doesn't know when he needs to make the breakout, doesn't know where he needs to make the breakout. There was one play, too, forcing just a ridiculous D-to-D pass in his own end. I'm sorry. It is preseason, but my worries for the bottom four of this defense seem to be justified a lot tonight. One of my other worries, too, got justified, which, by the way, just before I even get to that, Urho Vakanainen, him also, I mean, I don't know what they saw last year. There was one play, I forgot what period it was in, but Matthew Schaefer's going coast to coast because you have Urho Vakanainen just not throwing the body at all, not willing to make a stick check, and just playing patty cakes. And then you have the opposite with Schneider, where he's going out of position to try and throw hits. I know his nickname's Baby Trouba, but could we not be like Jacob Trouba? I get a lot of this might be irrational anger right now, but like I said at the start of the show here, I've had a very bad sports week between the Mets, between fantasy football, to where this stuff's bothering me. And to where this stuff, you're going against the Islanders' best, and you still found a way to win. That's great. That is awesome. The Islanders aren't anything great. And on top of that, I want to see some of these X's and O's executed. And some of the guys were doing it. I mean, Will Cooley had a good game. Gabe Perreault, once again, I thought he had a solid game. Noah Laba netting the winner. He probably is going to be your third line center on opening night. And I'm kind of in the middle still about it. And I know it's hard to sit here and say otherwise because of what he has done thus far this preseason. I'm just still in the middle because of having Victor Mancini hangover, to be honest with you. But man, he dog walked Matthew Schaefer in that overtime goal. But I only worry because of the fact that, like I said, with Mancini last year, he had a great preseason. We all thought, okay, this kid's ready. Let him play. Let him get his minutes up here in the NHL. And he wasn't great once the game started to matter. So that's my thoughts with Noah Laba right now, where I don't care, honestly, if he does or doesn't make the team. To me, it is simply coming down to how management feels, how Mike Sullivan feels about this lineup. But I can tell you right now, I mean, a lot of guys are not doing themselves favors to give this coaching staff a reason to not put Noah Laba on the roster, because you have Sam Carrick, who's day-to-day now. Juuso Parssinen, while he scored tonight, and it was a nice little give and go there with Will Cooley. I still have my questions about Parssinen because he scored the goal, but didn't really do anything that noticeable for me after he scored that goal. So Noah Laba could win by default, but all I know is if he's getting fourth line minutes, no, just send him down to Hartford. I don't want to see Noah Laba getting fourth line minutes. That I could tell you is a definite. But honestly, the positives beyond that, I mean, is there really a lot? Because another concern, Taylor Radish. It's been 2 preseason games. I don't know what they saw in him. And I've said it at the time, and I'm not trying to sit here and tell myself that, oh, I know better and I take a victory lap here. But I never understood the signing when you have in-house options and when his best years, because he had a high shooting percentage, or his highest shooting percentage, rather, is 20 goal seasons off that. Washington fans celebrated when this guy left. And then that mistake that he made on the Duclair goal, inexcusable. So, not a fan of that. Not a fan of the way Euro Vakanainen played. Let that Tony DeAngelo goal unfold, which Dylan Garand needs to make that save. Igor needs to make the save on the Duclair goal as well. But at the end of the day, I mean, these are 2 guys that you're counting on to potentially be on the team making crucial mistakes. And that's why I'm frustrated. And that's why my worries come in, because it's just like, I don't care that's preseason. I want to see this team nail down the X's and O's early, the veteran players, that being. The rookie guys, I want to see them just like go out there and give it their best performance in these preseason games and make a showcase and make a case to make the team. While, of course, doing the little things right, which does go a long way in making the team. But the veteran players, how long is there going to be an adjustment period to Mike Sullivan's system? Because I can tell you right now, if Mike Sullivan's system is what we saw in those breakouts, then we're just in for a repeat of last year. The Islanders had the puck way too much in this game, had way too many chances throughout this game. And it comes down to the fact that, again, I know that they're putting out their best. The Rangers are putting out their AHL guys and bottom six forwards, bottom pair defensemen. But this is a big year for Schneider in particular. You're in a contract year right now. And going out here saying you feel your best after getting that shoulder surgery, well, it's one game, but you got to prove a lot more than what you showed tonight. Because, sorry, I don't think your shoulder is the reason that you're failing breakout passes. And I think a lot of my anger with Schneider also goes to the fact that this organization has overvalued him for years now. I mean, we saw the report that they didn't trade for JT Miller at the 2022 deadline because of Braden Schneider. We heard they didn't want to move Braden Schneider in a Jack Eichel deal. When Matthew Tkachuk's name was floated around, Braden Schneider off limits. At the deadline a few years ago, Braden Schneider off limits. So I think that's also contributing to my frustration with the Braden Schneider debacle. But this is your opportunity. Not only in a contract year, but Will Borgen is not anything great. This is your opportunity. Now that Jacob Trouba is not blocking your way with his $8 million contract, this is your path to being a second pair guy. We were talking about potentially him being an option next to Adam Fox on the offhand. You can't play your natural side well. How am I trusting you on the offhand? I just don't. I just don't trust him at all right now. And so far in the preseason, my worry right now is that bottom four on the blue line. It's definitely a worry. I think I got my anger out. And again, I don't mean to even direct it mostly at a preseason game. I have to reiterate the point. It's those freaking Mets. It's those freaking Mets. What else was there to highlight throughout this game? I mean, Brennan Othman at one point had a horrible mistake. It happened a couple times, but there was one really bad mistake where he just turned the puck over brutally in the offensive zone. The Islanders come for a rush the other way. Again, another thing that just can't happen if you're looking to make the team and we're this far removed from your draft year. I'd like to see Othman show something, and once again, he has not shown me enough. Matt Rempe had a couple of good moments throughout this game, coming out of the penalty box, almost scoring. You thought maybe for a second, if that means anything. And then, yeah, outside of that, the usual suspects that have been thriving thus far thrived again. Will Cooley, Noah Laba, Gabe Perreault. Parson got on the score sheet. I'd say he's been okay. I'd say he's been better than what I've thought, but I still want to see more away from the puck with him. But nonetheless, yeah, I just want to see this decor. I really am I'm very concerned. I'd be lying. Again, I know it's the preseason, but now's the time to iron things out so you're ready to go from game one. Because that's the thing. I want to see these habits get nailed down. Now, let me get to the chat and see what you guys are saying. Jay Lewis, thank you for the $2. I appreciate it. Cut Radish, 2 years, young players are better. I agree there. I don't see the use for Radish. I don't see the use for a guy that where does he belong? Where does Taylor Radish belong on this team? He's not a great penalty killer. Not good 5-on-5. Not good on the power play. Where does he fit in? You could maybe say mediocre at 5-on-5. Maybe. That's about it. Laba should make the team for opening night, which means be ready for Parsonen. Listen, I can't. That's the one thing, though. I don't know. Like I said early on in the show here, I can't get mad, to be honest with you, if Laba doesn't make the team, just because I don't hate the idea of over marinating a prospect. I don't. And I like Laba. I think all of us do. But, and this isn't me knocking on him. Like, I'm happy if he makes a team. And I think it's warranted if they put him on the team. He's shown why he deserves that spot. For me, it's just, I don't hate the idea of over marinating him. Evan's been hitting the gym this offseason, boys and girls. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Jacked Evan Central. Maybe one day. Gym channel. Will that interest anyone? 100% agree. The zone exits were a massive issue. And it's something that happened last season. You could tell that the zone defense, there's still a lot of work to do there as well. Let's be honest, this is a fringe playoff team, and they'll need a lot of things to go right. This team can't take nights off and pray they're better because their top guys can score. They simply don't have any scoring depth. That was one of my other questions. If you watched my first live stream back in a couple of months, I was saying, where's the scoring depth going to come from? You got to hope the young guys do it. I mean, Will Cooley got on the board. Gabe Perot's had a good preseason. And that's why I don't mind if they put Will Cooley on the third line to add that depth scoring. Schneider looked worse in person at the game. I cannot even imagine that. My eyeballs were bleeding watching Braden Schneider on television. I can't even imagine watching that in person. There would have been vomit on the ice from me from the stands. You would have actually seen the ice cleaners have to come out and clean up my vomit. But yes, Vakanainen was not good too. The Cooley line looked good. Laba was noticeable. Rempe was all right. Most of these guys won't make the team. And at the end of the day, that's the truth. To where a lot of my anger from tonight is irrational in that regard. But I'm also mad because Chris Drury had an opportunity to address this defense. Once he got rid of Jacob Trouba, he had a clean slate to work with. And he decided to extend Borgen, to extend Vakanainen, trade for Carson Soucy. That's where my anger really comes in still. It's not irrational to be concerned about the defense. Borgen, Soucy, and Vakanainen were flaming positive ass last year, and Schneider hasn't progressed in 2 years. Has Schneider progressed at all? I see the same guy that I've seen when he got... I shouldn't say when he got called up. When he got called up, I honestly thought he was okay. But ever since the season after that, which would be 22-23, yeah. Ever since then, I've not seen progression from him, to be honest with you. Unless that's what you mean. I think that's what you mean. And I'm just making it too literal. Perot's IQ shines. He's so patient with the puck. His skating just needs to be a bit better for him to be stud caliber. And I agree there. Schneider's a third pair D. That's a ceiling. Typical Rangers will not figure that out for another 3 to 4 years. Again, that's where my anger comes in, is you've had opportunities to move this guy for better players. and you refuse to. And that's why I view Brain Schneider in the light that I do. Because to me, I don't simply look at it as he's a third pair defenseman. He is what he is. I view it as this guy is viewed so highly by this organization, whether it's right or not. I'm going to have expectations that the organization has set for you. And it comes with being a first round pick, too. And I'm with you on this. I never bought into the shoulder being the issue because the IQ. The IQ has always been in question for me with Braden Schneider. So Lafreniere going to go back to where he was 2 seasons ago. They need him to. They absolutely need him to. I would still send Laba down the Hartford apart from Mancini hangover last year. There's nothing wrong with letting Laba dominate and then calling him up. And I agree with that as well, to where let the kid thrive and then let him come up. Yeah, Schneider delivering pizzas at center ice, delivering pizzas in his own end. Noah Laba looked pretty good tonight. Othman is skating much better than he did last year. I agree with the Laba part. Othman, a bit. A bit. Rash will be this season's whipping boy. It wouldn't be Rangers hockey without one. As long as he does not play in the top 6. Do not let him play in the top 6. Jimmy VC hangover. Garand has struggled a bit. He's looked a bit shaky, and it's been disappointing. I thought he looked sharp outside of the goal he let up, though. There were a couple of times where he was under siege, and I thought he looked pretty good. Do I think Panarin's gone next year? I prefer he takes a discount so the Rangers can get someone big. Based on what we're hearing, I don't think he's coming back unless he takes a discount. And that's the right move. I personally, if you know my stance, and I know I'm in the vast minority right now. But I personally don't even want him back at all. But it seems like if he's willing to take a discount, they'll keep him around and it will be what it will be. But I don't think he's going to take a discount. Without Barkov, do I still think Florida's coming out of the East? Yes. Because they've gave me no reason to not believe they're going to just trade. I'm telling you right now, book it. They're either going to trade for Malkin and he'll reverse the clock back to how he was in his prime, or they're going to trade for Kaprizov, move Reinhardt back to center, and then that is going to be their new line there up front, and they're still going to win. Like, it's inevitable with that team. Yeah, Schneider's progressed and then regressed. It's not good. This is the problem. This is what frustrates me, is that I don't see a true second pair. And I disagree with the Susie Borgen thing because they weren't good in Seattle as a third pair. Well, I can tell you right now with this one that if Othman doesn't make the team, there's got to be questions about what you do there. There's got to be questions of, is it time for a change of scenery trade? And it would piss me off that we have got to the point where we're talking change of scenery trade potentially with Brennan Othman, considering this guy was considered a untouchable prospect for a bit. But this is where we are. With Barkov being on LTIR, yes, they could afford Kaprizov. And if Minnesota retains, especially, they could definitely afford him. But with Barkov being on LTIR the entire year, they could afford to get Kaprizov. Yeah, Susie and Borgen could be a D pair in the AHL. I don't even know about that. I mean, tonight I had the third pair. This was my point. Time to wake up, but we'll see. I'm trying to give this thing a chance, but a night like tonight definitely fueled my anger a bit. Remind me a lot of things that are still flawed with this team. But again, they're under the microscope now because a certain baseball team decided to defecate all over the diamond and have a slow, painful death for the past 2 to 3 months, to where I am scarred. Between that and then the Rangers last season, I am hurt. I am very hurt internally right now. And then basketball's coming back too with the East Open. Surely the Knicks capitalize on that. But I don't know what's worse. Truly, I don't know what's worse about that. I don't even know. I can't even get into that. What was worse, the Mets collapse or the Rangers doing what they did? I'm not there yet. I can't do it. Yeah, I can't even imagine people that are baseball fans or football fans as well in this town. Could you imagine right now being a Mets, Jets, Rangers fan right now? Oh, I would be. I feel horrible. I know a few Mets, Jets, Rangers fans. Matt's one of them. Or even the Giants, though, too. Luckily, I at least escaped that. But I can't even imagine being a fan of New York football on top of being a Mets and Rangers fan right now. Nonetheless, though, I am going to wrap things up here. It is late at night. So thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. I believe the next game is on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, which, if that's the case, probably going to be a similar deal as tonight, to where I'm not going to be able to get the post game up right after the game. Is it Thursday? It's Thursday, right? Yeah, Thursday. I'm not going to be able to get the stream up right away. I will have to do that a little bit later on at night, as I will be watching on DVR and catching up on the game, and then I will go live and do my post game show. But thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live. And I'll see you guys in the next one.